Hey everybody, it's Friday with Father Scott, and I'm coming to you from the dining room at the rectory, the original priest house, when the property was bought way back 70 some years ago. So, welcome to the dining room. It is used by not only myself, but currently Father Troy Overton, the pastor of St. Thomas More, Mount Carmel, lives here with me while some things are going on at his rectory. So it's nice to have some space to spread out and do the things that we do. So I want to welcome again everybody. I want to begin with the scripture for this coming weekend for August the 30th, the 22nd Sunday in Ordinary Time. There's a line in the first reading from the prophet Jeremiah that I've just loved. It intrigues me, and it captures my attention. And it begins this way: You duped me, O Lord, and I let myself be duped. You were too strong for me, and you triumphed. Then I want to fast forward to the gospel. And what we hear in St. Matthew's gospel, that Jesus began to show his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer greatly from the elders, the chief priests, and the scribes, and be killed, and on the third day be raised. Then Peter took Jesus aside and began to rebuke him. God forbid, Lord, no such thing shall ever happen to you. He turned and said to Peter, Get behind me, Satan. You are an obstacle to me. You are thinking not as God does, but as human beings do. When Jesus said to his disciples, Whoever wishes to come after me must deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. For whoever wishes to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. What profit should there be for one to gain the whole world and forfeit his life? Or what can one give in exchange for his life? For the Son of Man will come with his angels in his Father's glory, and then he will repay all according to his conduct. It's a very powerful gospel that builds on what we heard last week. It was Peter who stepped up when asked the question, who do people say that I am? I mean, in the pointed question, who do you say that I am? And Peter stepped up and took that risk and voiced, and rightly so, who Jesus was. Not only to him, but maybe for the entire creation. But in today's gospel continuation, we hear that it's Peter again who steps up, and this time he doesn't get it right. He stumbles. He's thinking not as God does, but as human beings do. That this is what the Son of Man must go through. The suffering, death, and eventually the resurrection. And that we're all called to follow Jesus. But we have to take up our cross to do that. And I say that in light of the first reading. That one line, You duped me, O Lord, and I let myself be duped. For you were too strong for me, and you triumphed. I think part of that how we are duped is, I love Christmas. And the Christmas story kind of grabs us. You know, it's a little bitty baby, and who doesn't love little bitty babies? And the oohing and the cooing and the ahs. But the little baby grows up. And that little baby that takes you by the finger and holds on. And then that baby develops into a young man. And that young man is Jesus. And to be a faithful disciple of Jesus, he makes demands on us. And we hear part of that today. To take up our cross and follow him. So, maybe we get caught up in all the things that kind of capture, our attention. But remember, it's an adult Jesus who challenges us to be his faithful disciples. We get caught up in all the cuteness of the baby, but the baby becomes a man, and the man makes demands of the disciples. So we're challenged by what we hear in the gospel. We continue the journey. We're called to faithfully follow where Jesus leads us and what he asks of us. In today's filming, I just want to draw attention to the bear behind me, a little gift from Ann Russo. It does have a name. I didn't realize that the Build-A-Bear kind of things, but I asked for a little priest bear and did that. And so he's got his mask on, and all of us are still challenged to do all of that. And some of the little symbols around him, he's got the Our Lady of Lourdes, and he has a name. His name is Scooter. And his born date is June the 22nd, 2011. That was my first day as your pastor here at Our Lady of Lourdes. So just keep an eye on him. He's going to start to appear, especially for our little people out there. Maybe you'll see him and you can tell me when you see me where you've seen him last. So if we're going to let ourselves be duped, make sure it's fun. But remember, there are challenges when that happens. So have a great weekend. God bless. Be safe. Watch out for each other. And let us take care of one another. Blessings.